Hello, and welcome to episode 4 of the Just Janet series. Stories from my personal and professional life that have led me to be a better business leader from what I've learned, and I hope you'll learn something too. So let's go back many, many years to when I was working in management consulting, and I was at my first project, my first client. And this was a fast food company, and they had a parent company that had their own stores, and they also had many franchises. That being series of stores owned by other folks who had to conform to their rules for marketing and operations and so on, so that it looked like one whole company when the customer came in. So I began work and went to the client and would talk to them about how to create operational excellence. That was my project, how to improve operations to be more efficient and more consistent. And started work and everything seemed to go fine. And the senior manager I was working with said to me, we have a real problem with our biggest franchise group. They do things their own way. They market their own way. They do operations their own way. They've been very successful, but they won't listen and do it the way we want. So it's quite a tense relationship. And I said, so what? It's not really my problem. And he said, no, Janet, I would like you to go and meet the franchise group and talk to them because you've built great relationships here, and I think it'd be great if you went there and told them all about what we were doing and shared that. So I said, okay, always up for a challenge, and made a date to go and visit them. Well, the senior partner from the consulting firm where I was working heard about this and said, Janet, I hear you're going to meet this franchise group. And I said, yes, I was invited. I'm going, no big deal. He said, well, it is a big deal because the CEO is very worried because they have a bad relationship and he's worried, this could make it worse. And I said, all right, then I won't go. He said, no, you have to go because you said you'd go. So now you not going will be even worse. So off I went. And I left the parent company office, which was a glass building and very sterile and very efficient, and went over to the franchise group, drove over there, and I get there and it's a beautiful building and it's really warm and nicely laid out and there's art on the walls and mahogany table and so on. They lead me into the meeting room and I think, oh, this is going to be warm and lovely and friendly. I sit down and they offer me a coffee and a cookie and there's 20 folks in the room and me, and I think they're going to say, tell me what you're working on. So I say, it's lovely to meet you. I'm Janet Matriciani, and this is my first project at the client, and we're working on operational excellence, and I'd love to share what I'm doing and get your thoughts. And they looked at me, and they said, who are you to tell us what to do? We are incredibly successful. We know what we're doing. You haven't got any experience. You don't really know anything. You haven't got the experience we have. How can you possibly think you can help us? It's completely ridiculous. This is a joke. And I was a little taken aback. And they went on for a bit and I sort of sat there silently waiting for them to finish, waiting for myself to be able to get a word in. And after a few minutes, they sort of stopped. And I looked at them and I said, it's worse than you think. I'm a vegetarian and I don't even eat your burgers. And they burst out laughing and they said, all right, fair enough. Let's talk. What are you up to? And then we had a very good meeting and I talked about what we were doing operationally and they talked about what they were doing, and there was mutual learning and it enabled us to improve what we were working on, build that relationship, and had quite a nice meeting. And in the end of it, they said to me, Janet, we're having our summer barbecue next week and we want you to come. Don't worry, we won't make you eat the burgers. We'll give you baked potatoes. And we had a great time. And the learning for me was, if you don't pretend to be someone you're not, if you're clear about what you're bringing to the table, and if you can just use a bit of self-deprecating humor to get the message across that you're not there to tell, you're there to listen and work together, you can really build a great relationship and do great things. So that was the learning for me. Use humor, diffuse tension, build a relationship, and move forward. Have a great day and tune in for episode 5.